Hello everyone, welcome to another one of these collection videos, and again focusing on a horror-related franchise for the month of October. Today we're taking a look at the Evil Dead franchise, and as you can see here on the side I have the program for Evil Dead the Musical. Back in 2007, I believe it was, we went up to New York. A couple of friends and I went up to visit one of my friends who was going to school in New York, and we went to an off-Broadway musical presentation of Evil Dead the Musical live on stage. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great fake blood and everything. It was definitely worth going to see. It was one of the most entertaining theater productions I've ever seen. It was just a lot of fun. It was a great time. And for the movies, I flip-flop between Evil Dead 1 and 2 as far as which one's my favorite. Both those two I adore. Just kind of depends what mood I'm in, because they do have a very different feel to them. But starting off with, we're going to do this one by movie rather than by format. A little more organized that way for this. We have on LaserDisc, the Elite Entertainment presents Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. Love this. These are my two favorite horror movies of all time, The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. I just love the combination of horror and comedy in general. I like a lot of horror comedies, whether they're intentional or not, and these are just cream of the crop for me. They have such incredible imagination, and they've been mimicked many times, but nothing quite captures the look and feel of these two movies. And of course Army of Darkness, which we'll talk about in a bit. But The Evil Dead on LaserDisc was actually one of the first LaserDiscs that I had in my collection, and was one I actually won for a contest with the LaserDisc Forever group back when I first got a working player and everything, and that was such a fun addition to the collection. Very happy to have that on LaserDisc. It's a great way to watch the film. And then on VHS we have this HBO video release. The Evil Dead has been released on just about every format ever, and I know there are people out there that have monster collections, so I'd love to see if you're one of those people, your collection. It's been released even on Betamax. It was released on VHD in Japan, all over the place. But we have that, and then the limited edition clamshell, really pretty release of The Evil Dead. Used to watch this one in particular over and over again with my friends all the time. We watched all three of them, of the original movies, but the first one we watched more than any other one. It's the one I definitely have seen the greatest number of times. It's just one of those, between the first two, the big change in tone to where, even going throughout the original trilogy here, the first Evil Dead is definitely much more on the horror side of things, and then Army of Darkness on the other end is far more on the humor side and leaves behind a lot of the horror elements, and then Evil Dead 2 is kind of the perfect mixture of the two. But it depends what kind of mood I'm in, whether I prefer one or two. Then on DVD we have a standard release that I like to go along with the same cover release on Blu-ray. This is a Steelbook collection. Love the back there. This was used as a cover for a couple different Japanese versions on LaserDisc, that image on the back. On Blu-ray, and then last for the first movie, UMD. The Evil Dead 1 and 2 were both released on UMD on the PSP. I don't think that Army of Darkness was, just these two. But a lot of fun, and again, I can watch this over and over again. I've never seen a horror movie more times than this one, so having that on the go on UMD is really cool. And then The Evil Dead 2 on DVD. Watched that on VHS many times as a kid growing up. I was introduced to Bruce Campbell and the whole gang through Xena and Hercules with Rob Tappert and Ted Raimi and everyone involved in that. And then from there saw the first Evil Dead over at a friend's house late one night, and we were very young, probably too young to watch it, and absolutely loved it. Watched it so many times over and over again. And then Evil Dead 2, one of us, I don't remember who, one of us had it on VHS, and watched that over and over again, and watched the two of them back to back many times. Loved those movies. Then moving on from DVD to Blu-ray, The Evil Dead 2 25th Anniversary Edition with a ton of extras. I really love this edition. I was very excited when I grabbed this because of the number of special features. There's so much to dig into here, hours worth. And then my favorite release in this entire collection, because I just love the artwork on this one. I'm gonna have to get rid of some of the glare here because it is beautiful. The Evil Dead 2, this is a Blu-ray DVD combo steelbook, and I love the artwork on this one. This is my favorite release out of everything I have for The Evil Dead. Just a beautiful, beautiful release. I like this even more than my brother has, I think, the first Evil Dead with the Necronomicon, like the actual looks like the actual book itself has a casing, kind of the fake skin look, and that's pretty cool. But I just love the artwork on this release. So that Blu-ray DVD combo of The Evil Dead 2 is my favorite thing in the whole collection. Then moving on to Army of Darkness, we have two different editions on DVD. It's another one that I watched originally on VHS, and this is the official bootleg copy. Army of Darkness Director's Cut. Has some additional footage, including the original ending, which isn't on all versions, and deleted scenes, commentary, a bunch of cool extras. That's a fun version of the movie to have. And then the Screwhead edition on DVD. And then instead of the Blu-ray copy, I got the only one of the series that was released on the other format, HD DVD. Evil Dead 1 and 2 were not released, but Army of Darkness was released on that format, so I decided to grab it on HD DVD instead of Blu-ray, and very happy with this copy. It's excellent, definitely my preferred way to watch it. Really good copy. One of my favorite HD DVDs to play. And Army of Darkness has kind of become its own thing over time. I think that there are a lot of people that are more familiar or more drawn to Army of Darkness, and then there are other people that are more drawn to the first two movies, The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, and I'm definitely more in that camp. I like Army of Darkness a lot, but it's nowhere near as near and dear to my heart as the first two. It might be because I watched those first two like probably 20 times before I ever saw Army of Darkness, but I don't know, I enjoy greater focus on the comedy and fantasy elements in Army of Darkness, a little bit less than the horror elements of the first two. It's still a really great movie. It's hilarious and a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoy it, and Bruce Campbell in his pun-filled dad joke glory, but I've always liked it a little bit less than the first two. The most recent movie, before we get another one next year, we have Evil Dead, which was a very mixed feelings about this one. Even just when it was announced, I was like, I don't know. We'll see. Always trying to be open-minded. It could be good. And it's okay overall. I think the last, off the top of my head, maybe 10 minutes or so, it's been a while since I've watched it, so I can't remember exactly, but the last little segment of this movie is awesome. I absolutely loved it. It went on like full Evil Dead 2. Brilliant. I love the last little portion of this movie, but the rest of it I'm kind of mixed on. There were some elements that I liked, but I wasn't as drawn to the characters. It was definitely much more horrific and less humor focused than the previous ones. Tonally, I think it was going to be more in line with The Evil Dead than 2 or Army of Darkness or anything, and it kind of did that, kind of didn't. A lot of the gore effects, they felt a little less creative and a little grosser, if that makes any sense. It reminded me more of like a The Evil Dead crossed with Hostel or something like that. So I don't know, I just really was not on board with a lot of this movie, but there were specific scenes that harkened back to the older movies that I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed the last little portion of it. So again, very mixed on it. It's a movie I want to rewatch it. I only watched it twice when it first came out, and then again on DVD. So it's been a while since I've seen it. I do want to rewatch it again, but definitely one that I'm a little more mixed on But I'm curious to see what happens with the next movie it's going to be coming out. I'm actually surprised that's happening, but should be interesting. Let's see what avenue they take. And in the meantime, though, we got one of the best incarnations of this entire thing. We have Ash versus Evil Dead on DVD. I love this show. I was completely blown away by how good it was the first season. It nailed everything that I liked about the other movies and then brought its own thing to the table. Pablo and Kelly are amazing in this entire show, and they're not outshined by a big star like Bruce Campbell. They really work together as an amazing trio. I love the three of them together. They are fantastic characters, great sense of humor. They recaptured the look and feel in many ways of the original ones, and then Lucy Lawless as Ruby was great in the whole thing. I mean, it's from start to finish. There was not an episode I disliked in the entire show. I mean, there were ones that were better than others, but overall, there was nothing I disliked. It was brilliant. The effects were incredible. So well done. We got season 2. And season 3. Great show. Very disappointing we didn't get a 4th season with the way that 3rd season ended. Wrapped everything up from those first 3 seasons, would have been built up, but then at the very end, with Ash in the future, kind of starts off a new plot line, and then it's gone. So that part's really, really sad. And also how that tied into the other ending for Army of Darkness was really, really cool, and that would have been amazing. The last scene of the last episode of season 3 really shows like a 4th season could have been the best season overall. I mean, we'll never know, but it's so sad we didn't get another season of that show. But what we have is brilliant. It's one of the best, more modern TV series. There are not a lot of modern TV series that I enjoy, but this is one of the few, and definitely one of my favorite TV shows to come out within the last decade or so. I still am in awe of how they did such an incredible job getting there's a lot of cast, crew, producers, a lot of behind the scenes people back together from the days of Xena and Hercules, and that really helped the whole thing out. Strife as being a big baddie, and like so many different people that we recognize, and different producers and names and things that it's like, wow, I know all these people. It was kind of like the old family back together again, and just a great show. So anyway, that is my collection for the Evil Dead franchise. A brilliant series of movies. I still want to play some more of the video games. I'm looking for Fistful of Boomstick on PS2. I'd really like to get that one at least, because I played a few of them in the past. I really did not like the one that was on PS1 and the Dreamcast. If I ever stumbled upon the Dreamcast version, I would probably get it. But it was not, I don't know, it just didn't handle very well. It was a little bit more of a Resident Evil clone. Cool idea, but Fistful of Boomstick and Regeneration were good, so Fistful of Boomstick is one I would play again. A lot of fun. And of course, the series has been expanded in however many comics and all kinds of stuff. Particularly Army of Darkness seems to have kind of got a life of its own over the years. One of my favorite movie franchises. If you watch my videos where I talked about my favorite movies of all time, I talked about The Evil Dead 1 and 2 are both in there in my top 50. Just amazing horror movies that have a style all their own, instantly recognizable. Lots of imitators, but nothing will be quite the same. And if you're just discovering these movies for the first time and you kind of want to start building your own collection, there are a couple of different ways you can go about it. You can go old school and try and find the VHS and the Betamax and LaserDisc and all that stuff, or now they just came out with, I think this month or next month, sometime soon, there's a 4K box set that's coming out. I think it's called the Groovy Edition or something. I saw an advertisement for that. So there's a couple different ways you can go about it. It's been released on DVD and Blu-ray, a bunch of different standard editions a million times over. Look for those. Ash vs. Evil Dead is available as complete series box sets on DVD and Blu-ray or individually. So if you're just getting into these movies and you want to start a collection of your own, there are many different ways to do it. Just kind of make it your own and find what you like the best. These are what I have gathered over the years for these amazing movies. Very happy with this collection. Definitely, as far as horror movies go, my coolest collection overall and my favorite.